Hi gamers, welcome, and it so happened that I recently had a tiny drama in my comment section. So as a reminder, what happened in this particular clip that the initial video was about is, well, as you can see, the gamer on the arena got chainsawed. What I wanted to do through that previous video is to address bigger elephant in the room, which is essentially a problem with the latency, artificial latency on the PC, mind you, and overall the fact that players from across the globe never supposed to connect to each other, which the chainsawer wouldn't have a reason to chainsaw because he wouldn't get upset, because that's essentially what happened. And then we also wouldn't have this freaking thread on Reddit because the other guy wouldn't get chainsawed. But instead we got funny war in my comment section between people that disagree with my way of approaching things and people that agree. So yeah, let's finally address this. So here, Poison Death PvP says that I am seeing here that person of all the options he had went for the worst and easiest one, cheat. And I kind of want to address the easiest one in the moment, but let's read the rest of the comment. Main problem is it's the game's fault that it allows those types of match, but everyone who plays PvP knows that they can use double spear, unspur, BHS, ATC. Any of these options were better and best of all without cheating. Whereas I more or less get what this guy wants to say, just use in-game mechanics instead of working them around with the chainsaw. Dude, chainsaw is not easy thing to do, like at all. It's one of the hardest moves that you can perform in this game. For instance, I have been practicing chainsaw for 3 months every single evening, so I would start doing it consistently, and then I stopped doing that for the period of the month, started playing Lords of the Fallen when the game released, and when I came back to Elden Ring I was completely rusty, and even today I cannot do that very consistently anymore. What I also personally considered as cheating is third-party programs. For example, like someone is going to use cheat engine in the online session and is going to one-shot another player. And it is very possible that person in that clip used macro to run the chainsaw, but since you don't have proof, then I just wouldn't call it a cheating. As simple as that. What's important to say is this guy in this video didn't chainsaw the other player because he wanted to just defeat them. No. The chainsaw, my dear friend, was clearly just a middle finger. Petty? Yeah, petty as shit. I just want to point that in my eyes, it is absolutely not cheating, though. I think you missed the mark with this one still. I understand your argument. From Software should handle their ping matchmaking smarter. Thank you. High latency is frustrating, yeah? It sucks to feel you are losing more so because of the latency than the opponent. I agree on all that, but that's not all you do. If you claim to not take a moral stance on a chainsaw use, then don't. If you mock people frustrated by chainsaw for being frustrated by it, you are to some degree defending the use of chainsaw. No, I don't. What I do in the previous video, I am mocking people that silence normal responses just because they are not joining the hive mind. I am mostly just upset on the system of Reddit that allows for this stupid shit called upvoting and downvoting, where you can literally, through mass downvoting, just hide someone's comment. And this is basically where my frustration was mostly coming from. If you to some extent can understand why the chainsaw user used chainsaw and are charitable towards him, why don't you extend that some charitability to those frustrated by chainsaw? Thing is, I don't mind people being frustrated by chainsaw. You can dislike whatever you want. I am not charitable towards people that being told something that is true and what they do in the process is downvoting to the oblivion. Now I understand that it comes from the fact that most people probably thought that this particular comment over here is justification of use of the chainsaw, but it's not. Just simply not. It's just Gideoning about what potentially happened is by no means saying that yes, good thing that the other guy chainsawed the freaking arena gamer. No, like that's not the same. Everyone should be careful to not justify one thing just because we draw a subjective line on what is okay, in this case latency. Yeah, but no one is doing that. I mean, I am not doing that. I point the real issue, which in this case is the fact that From Software throughout many years still do not have the ping filter systems. Actually, they introduced something like that in recent Armored Core 6. It's not exactly perfect, but better than nothing. You can essentially choose your region, which is nice because we definitely need something like that in Elden Ring. We need anything, dude. Like, playing on 200, 300 ms is unacceptable. The game literally doesn't work on that high ping. Glitches like chainsaws should not be condoned by the PvP community. It is bad for all of us. Example, community growth. If the chainsaw user was frustrated, there were multiple other options available, like just talking the hits and ending the fight, switching to a weapon that is way better in latency, or heck, just pressing Alt F4. Instead, he chainsaws and throws Dank Pie. Okay, so one by one. Firstly, it is my duty not condoned by anyone, I assume, but it is essentially a PvP community meme at this point. People actually chainsaw sometimes even for lulz, and we have that funny meme even here, which is very cool, not gonna lie. I would say that chainsaw is somewhat similar to Estus cancel in Dark Souls 3, as it is absolutely broken and powerful, but you need actual skill to pull it off. And whereas you like it or not, sadly, Souls games are essentially a glitch fest. You can jump on Dark Souls 3 to the Pontiff or whatever and see what's going to happen. Dude, like every single invasion, people are all glitching. It became the second nature. Discussion if that's bad for us or not, because like it's essentially working against the community growth or whatever. Dude, you don't have statistics, you don't know that. I remember in Dark Souls 1 when I have seen stuff like toggling and move swaps and so on. It only made me want to play the game more because there was more stuff to learn that I had to master my timings to utilize them to its full potential. As what other things the chainsaw user could do when he was frustrated? Well, he didn't. He used the chainsaw to show the middle finger to the other guy. Dick move? Yes. It is worth to spend even a single moment crying over it? Fuck no. It's some petty bullshit that is not worth discussing. That's how I see it. If you want people to understand our tryhard side of the community without jumping to conclusions, start by putting in effort understands the casual side of the community without jumping to conclusions. I hope that future videos, unlike the last two in this series, are more charitable towards everyone. Yeah, I will try to communicate better. Steelovsky outed as modern chainsaw apologist shakes my head. Real? It feels like Steel is siding with the cheater, and let's be real here, using a glitch to instant kill anybody is cheating. Regardless of the latency, I would never use a cheat or glitch to win a duel. It's understandable if somebody is running behind a fog wall in invasions to heal, then come back out over and over, but this guy threw a tantrum and cheated, which is never acceptable regardless of he would have beat him if he wasn't latent. Dear Ale, don't take it personally too much, but who the fuck are you to tell others what is okay and what's not? This is a problem that I actually see in these comments, that like people basically have certain moral stance on what you're supposed to do and in what cases. Like for example, this guy here saying that, yo, if someone is glitching against you, then you are allowed to glitch back, essentially, yeah? Hey, like, he says it is understandable to use the chainsaw against the fog wall abuser. But is it really? Like, you are exploiting against someone that is exploiting too. I personally, myself, like this guy is saying here that he would never cheat against someone to win a duel, yeah, no matter what. I, for one, never used chainsaw in the duel as well. I kind of actually use the chainsaw in similar way how you're saying here, like when someone is, for example, fogwalling me or something like that, then I chainsawing the shit out of them, yeah, because they are essentially exploiting against me. Or when someone, for example, is some sort of the inaccessible place, then I also chainsaw through the wall because similarly to the person here in the clip, Honestly, I wouldn't have to do that. Why am I doing it? I could just leave the invasion. Like, I am not losing anything because I am not going to kill the host. It is just me being petty in the moment and wanting to essentially give the other guy the taste of his own medicine, yeah? It is petty. And in the moment of upset, similarly how I am petty about using the chainsaw myself when someone is glitching against me, this guy was petty about other guy is just light rolling again on the very, very high latency, which makes the game pretty much unplayable. So he decided to chainsaw. What we see in the video is not really that far from what this gamer here in the comment is describing here, yeah? My essential point is that people have their own moral codes and they vary from person to person and overall. And there is really no point to bother too much about all this bullshit. We have plenty of comments of this type as someone is basically just saying that I justify the chainsawing because of someone having high latency. I explained it here and this guy came to the conclusion that, hey, okay, I understand you now, but he still believes that what I did was bad. I think this is clear at this point that if I myself do not use the chainsaw against someone that has high latency without ability to do the chainsaw, then it's rather obvious that, yeah, this is not something that I personally justify, yeah, in any way, shape or form. What I'm doing though is not pushing my own beliefs and the way how I approach things on others and require them to act exactly like I do, which honestly is what people in this comment section actually often do. Bleed magic users, when I chainsaw them, I play the game my own way. 100% intended gameplay mechanics because Elden Ring is Lumberjack Simulator. Actually kinda true. Everybody is a freaking laggard. Dude, listen. If you are not from South America, do not use hard RD. You can say laga, okay? Please respect. That one I can give you pass on. If them and the person they are connecting to is living far away from each other IRL, you can't pretend one side is good and the other is bad. It's absolutely delusional. But no one is doing that. Okay, like this is actually a problem that a lot of people don't get. Yeah, it's just when I, for example, in the video say such a fucking laggard against someone that has bad latency to me, I do not mean that, oh, this is their fault. Yeah, just from my perspective, they are lagging. That's why I use this figure of speech, because it is what it is. Yes, of course, on the P2P connection. What matters is just connection between players. The connection between players is fucked, yeah? The thing that 90% of laggards are intentionally lagging for an advantage, and especially when you think... Who thinks that? I mean, you have some people that think that, but they are dumbasses. It becomes an advantage just for one side permanently is also delusional. Nobody likes lag. Yeah, it's... People are upset at the game. Now, a random glitcher using an in-game exploit is not truly 100% unfair either, but still, it's not fun to deal with this a lot. And the only way to counter this is to learn to do this exploit yourself. Actually, no, not really. So, it's always worth to have the golem arrows, yeah, when you are essentially anywhere like this. The great bow and golem arrows is essentially something you're supposed to always have in the PvP, because you can just when you see someone further away, you can just like shoot them and they are going to get heated out of the chainsaw stance. Yeah, you can also use the frost pots, they also work. Alright, it took me forever to actually set up the chainsaw. But hey, you see that? This is the hitbox of the chainsaw actually, yeah? So it's not like it has infinite distance, and honestly, whereas it's... Fuck. Alright, so in place like Arena, which is absolutely huge, you pretty much just are going to have sometimes issue catch your opponent. You see, like for example, you cannot even get this goat over there. Yeah, I need to get closer to get him. And oh, finally, here we go. So yeah, it's essentially by outranging it, you can indeed actually punish the chainsawer. It is absolutely possible to play around it even if you do not use the chainsaw yourself. On top of that, funny enough, in 1v1 when your opponent is just rolling around you, then yeah, like chainsaw is going to be successful sooner or later. That being said, Chainsaw is actually not very good against latency, and check this out. It is Vale that actually decided to chainsaw another gamer, and what happened here? He literally just rolled away, dude. Since Chainsaw doesn't have any status effect, then it is absolutely possible to roll through it entirely by spamming roll when the latency is high enough. But I digress. My point is that this command is weird. It just makes certain assumption, and this assumption is just straight up out of the ass. As simple as that. Like, no one is saying that people are lagging on the purpose. People are just upset on the lag, and sometimes that upsetness might lead to someone snapping, and yeah, then we have this. Alright, this comment over there is similar to the one that we already responded to, I think. Oh, someone here mentioned that the entire thing is kind of like fuck you in situations like this, and yeah, the chainsaw, it is just that. I want to focus a lot on the fact that this is what happened in that clip ultimately. Nothing justifies the use of such a broken glitch, dude. Oh, latency, oh, light roll, oh, that and that. Whatever. There are no reasons at all, and people like me and you shouldn't vomit conditions or rules to use it or not. I'm sorry, what are you doing here? Isn't that setting up rules that, hey, you cannot use such a broken exploit? Also, this sentence is weird. Does it like suggest that, hey, if the glitch is less broken, then it's okay to use the glitches, yeah? I kind of have feeling like this comment contradicts itself, and yeah, I'm not fan of it. Crouching light roll on high lat is bound to awaken weird stuff in some people. It fucking does. I now look at it as the mark of a disguised shitter or complete ignorant / idiot. There is even a streamers I avoid watching because the majority of their builds crouch light roll and they argue it's necessity. Well, maybe your necessity goes hand in hand with someone's chainsawing. Just saying. Then the counter argument is that, well, one is glitch, the other one is mechanic in the game, and then another counter argument is BHS in the versions to 1.5 was also designed by devs, yeah? Which this comment basically implies that light roll is okay because it's, yeah, designed by devs. And sure thing, I absolutely understand that similarly how this guy is saying here that the person that uploaded the video most likely is kind of ignorant about the PvP, doesn't understand much. It might be all true and so on and so forth. But yeah, light roll is probably one of the most cancerous things that is available in the game. A lot of people that understand PvP very, very well, when they hear about light roll, just get in fucking spasms because it is probably like the most broken thing that we have currently in the game, that is completely destroying the base fundamentals of the combat in the PvP. And if you want to optimally play against light roll, then you have to pick up the power stance spears, because this is one of very few things that can effectively catch up on light roll, assuming the gamer doesn't have very high lat. And PS Spear, on the other hand, is probably the most broken setup in the game, and people, because of that, do not really like to use it much. I personally absolutely hate using PS Spears. But sadly, very often it feels like necessity, especially on PC. What pisses me off about the arena is you cannot just straight up leave. Yeah, that's one of the problems. Just take your clothes off and hold still. It's actually not greatest solution, by the way, because when someone would do something like that against me, I would probably feel pity and just stop attacking and would try to kill myself instead, which effectively would expand the duel for even longer lengths. Gamer is arguing that chainsawing basically is slower than doing what he suggested, and honestly it's not always the case. Now, I don't agree, there is no morality to discuss chainsawing because the dude has latency, it's not okay, to be honest. I feel a certain bias, my dear friend from Argentina. There are ways to counter latency without resorting to chainsawing. Shander dude might be a better player, but he is a fucking goober. Overall, I agree with waifu, it's just that I didn't discuss morality. That's what I pointed in the video. So this comment is kind of gooberish, one could say. And responses are very gooberish too, from that what I have seen. I actually pinned a comment of the gamer that quite well explained what was going on in the video. What I see in the replies here is that people seem to be somewhat upset about my essentially tone in that video, the way how I approach certain things, and nothing I can do about that. That's the video that was already published. I think the video honestly wasn't that good, and I'm just from now on gonna try to make better videos. Remember guys, you should chainsaw PVRs now, real. Next videos are going to be better. Thank you a lot for all the comments, especially these that were not like a weird ass conspiracy theories about me whistle blowing that fellow chainsawers supposed to chainsaw more, because I had plenty of comments like that too. Most of them are already removed. I strongly suggest watching less Hassan and Destiny, because I'm sorry my dude, but not everything is fucking politics. That video honestly was just not that good. I could make it better, and I will do my future videos actually better. So hey, thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you in the another one. Have a good one, gamers. Bye!
Hello, gamer? Memory's broken, room goes unspoken.